Right. Well, my name is Allison Paranka. And I was in the Winedale summer class of 2019 and then in the Zoom class of 2020. Community might be the thing that comes to mind for me. Um, and I would say accountability, except I feel like that makes it sound harsh, but there's a certain way that Winedale kind of like calls for everyone to be engaged and responsible and um, being part of, making your own costumes, fixing the barn when the barn needs fixing. Like, oh, the bricks are coming out. Like, great, here's some cement. The curtains need sewing. Who's going to do it? Like, everyone pitching in and be able to collaborate and helping each other with lines every day. It's like the community responsibility, I feel like, is part of what makes the experience so great, and the way that everyone bonds so well together is, you know, how we're creating things together there is so special, and invigorating too, for sure, with morning sports. um, Favorite memory at Winedale, I think there's like kind of, well, so many, obviously. I have this like image in my head of one time during the performances. It was an evening performance of Richard II, and I had this like crazy kind of first part of the play where I was in two scenes back to back, one as the Duchess of Gloucester in this like kind of elaborate dress, and then the second one where I was a herald and I had lost my pants. And so I like ran into the boys' dressing room and was like, I just need pants. I need literally anyone's pants so that I can go on stage to like be this herald. Like, it'll be covered with my tunic. And so I grabbed David's pants that were like these kind of weird, crazy clown pants that he wore as the second merchant in Comedy of Errors. And I went on stage wearing those and said my few lines and stood in the background, and no one noticed, and it was fine. But I was very flustered and kind of out of breath. And after that, I got to go off stage and I was walking to the bathrooms, and everything was dark and I could see the barn and see, it was, the stage was all lit up, and I could hear what they were saying, and it was so dark everywhere else. And like, at Winedale, it's so loud outside at night, right? There's like crickets and cicadas and God knows what else, but it's like the stars are so bright and everything making night noises around you is so loud. And I was walking there, and the like light coming from the barn and seeing everyone on stage, it was so beautiful and peaceful after I'd had this kind of like chaotic start to the play. And Winedale was maybe one of the happiest that I've been in my life. Like, it was just such a engaging and peaceful and kind of exciting summer. I was so happy to be there. So that is kind of my quintessential Winedale memory right there, Winedale performance evening. This isn't Shakespeare, but one of my other like favorite things that we did is our class was very curious and very kind of scholarly in a lot of ways, and we loved talking to James about different theater history things. And obviously James is an amazing Chekhov scholar as well, and we really started getting into that with him kind of in our free time. And we had learned about this new Tom Stoppard's translation of The Seagull that James hadn't read yet, and all of us were interested in it. And so we actually ordered a few copies, and we read each act of The Seagull. James cast us. We read it in the time and the place that each act is set. So for Act 1, we read it like at sunset down by the lake at Winedale. The second act, I think, is out on the lawn at like noon, and then in the dining room at 2 p.m. And then the last act is, I don't know, like midnight or something in the parlor. Anyway, so we like at those times, we sat in those places at Winedale all together and read the play, and it was really magical. And James obviously is like, has such an eye for casting, but we each got to read really juicy parts. And that was something unexpected that I wasn't expecting to get this like little Chekhov treat from James. He's so full of wisdom and knowledge about all of these plays. So I love being able to delve into that, and I love that our class wanted to delve into that, and that all of us were like, yes, absolutely, in our free time, let's read more plays and learn more things from James. And so we painted that on our cow as well. There's a little seagull on our cow. So that was one of my other favorite things that we were able to do. In terms of what I'm bringing from Shakespeare at Winedale into my life, I think even though I loved Shakespeare and loved performing before that, it was still kind of like Shakespeare was a little bit on a pedestal, or I didn't feel like fully enfranchised to think that I could do it, or it still felt a little distant from me. And the way that people just take the play and like any funny bit that you can think of, or any line interpretation, and helping each other with the scenes, and having it be so collaborative, and that like it is up to us to kind of create these shows. And obviously James is there to help and like keep us from going too much off the rails, but like it gave me an ownership of the text and of the plays that I didn't have before. And the way that everyone is so into it and so interested in approaching it both like academically and through the performance, which is something that is so exciting to my brain. Yeah, just made me feel like I understood the plays and was able to have opinions and a love for them that I don't think I had had before. And the spirit of curiosity and play and taking the plays very seriously and also not at all seriously, I think is kind of the magic key for enjoying Shakespeare. You know, it's like the most beautiful, exciting thing in the world, and it's like just a lot of nonsense jokes a lot of the time as well. So I really appreciated that, and I think the yeah, the way that the other students and the returning students my summer approached creating our performances was just so fun and exciting to me.